Hey guys, Risen here, and we're going to be profiling my fiance's Fabled deck for you. She has a lot of old decks, a lot of new decks, but I hope you guys enjoy. It's pretty complicated actually, but she knows how to work with it some way, so I'll let her explain a good amount of it. But without further ado, we can get into it.
Before we do the profile, fun fact, I built this deck because we went to Treasures and I saw two of the cards and I'm like, hey, those are cute. How much would it be to do the whole thing? And then I left with a new deck. That was not the intent, but
it's like 20
they
bucks.
were adorable. Alright, so I've got the Fabled Raven, and he gains 1 level and 400 attack for each discarded card until the end phase. Which is really cool, because this was one of the first decks that I found. It was like the discard cards, which is just super awesome, because like normally you want to keep your stuff in your hand, at least like in this format. And then Fabled Ruby Ruta, which is when one face-up card I control is selected as an attack target, I can discard a Fabled monster, which again is just super awesome, because that's like all their effects. I've got Fabled Diff, which is when a Fabled monster is sent from the hand to the graveyard, you contribute this card to select that monster and special summon it. Which is nice because some of them, their effects go off when they're sent to the graveyard, and some of them, their effects go off when they're taken out of the graveyard. And then I've got a Fabled Cha, which I'm going to be completely honest, I don't ever play this card. During the main phase, I can discard one Fabled monster and special summon this card from my hand. But there's just like a lot of other better ones that I get out more than this guy, and since I only run one of them, I never see him. And then I've got the Fabled Pegasus, in which is when this card is discarded to the graveyard, I can special summon it face down to my side of the field, and when it's flipped face up, I can reveal one Fabled from the hand and send one Fabled from the deck to the graveyard. Plus, he's adorable. And can we talk about the little guys that are on like most of these cards? I'm going to pull out all the ones that have the little guys later. But
Here we go, let's play.
I think these are what they call the Fableds, and then the rest is like the second part of the name. And then I've got the Fabled Cockatoor.
Chicken!
And then I've got the Fabled Catsith, which is when this card is discarded to the graveyard, I can select one face-up card on the field and destroy it, which is just really nice for like field spells you want to get rid of and dumb stuff from like this era of playing. And also the little guy that's a cat toy.
Dumb stuff.
And then I've got the Fabled Ashenvale, which is when this card attacks or is attacked during damage calculation, I can send one card from the hand to the graveyard once per battle, and it gains 600 attack during that turn. And then I've got the Fabled Sulcius, which is I can send 2 cards except Fabled Sulcius from the hand to the graveyard to special summon this card. And it's the same art on both of these guys.
There we go, I can see the art a little bit better. Getting some clear.
And then I've got the Fabled Topi, which if the opponent has 2 or more cards in their hand, 2 or more cards in their hand than you do, you can reveal one Fabled monster in your hand, tribute this face-up card to select 2 spell or trap cards your opponent controls and destroy them. And then she looks just like the Fabled Lurry, which is when this card is discarded to the graveyard, I can special summon it, which is just nice to get like an extra effect monster back on field, because it works really well for like synchroing everything. And then I run 2 of the Kashano. So if I discard one Fabled monster to the graveyard, except Fabled Kashano, I can add this card from graveyard to hand, which is really nice for just like combos, because like even if you get rid of this guy and he ends up in the graveyard, you pretty much always get him back within like 2 turns. And then Urstoros, which is cool because while you have 2 or less cards in your hand, all face-up Fabled monsters you control gain 400 attack.
And he's your level 4 or one of them.
Yeah, and that's just kind of nice because since most of them have really low attacks, plus he just has a really cool art, and he doesn't have like the little Fabled guy.
That's cool.
And then I've got 2 of the Nizuchi, which is the Beast. And he's during the main phase, you can discard one Fabled monster and special summon this card from the hand. And when this card is special summoned this way, you can special summon one level 2 or lower from the hand. So like most of these little guys. And then even if you have another one of these, which I actually did in a game, and it really confused everybody, but it was really cool. And then I've got 2 of the Ganashia, which you can get him back out from the graveyard, but if you do it, he ends up banished. I've got 2 of the Cerberell, so if this card is discarded to the graveyard, you can special summon it, which is really cool for stuff like the Kashano, because then you can add the Kashano back to your hand, and you can special summon the Cerberell, so you just get, like, double advantage from it, which is why I really like the discard decks, because even if you don't have a lot of stuff in your hand, you can do a lot of stuff. And Too Honest.
Oh, God.
Because I'm an asshole, and it's a light deck. And I've got...
Honestly, I hate you for that.
And I've got 2 of the Crews, which is actually one of my favorite arts in here, and she's got, like, the super cute butterfly clip.
Don't you have 2 in there because you didn't have 3 of the secrets?
No, I have 3 because there's 2 secrets, and there's 1 of the dual terminal ones, and I like it on all of them, but I really hate that they're not all the same thing, because the card shop will not take it back, and I'm so agitated by it. But when this card is discarded to the graveyard, I can select 1 level 4 or lower from the graveyard and special summon it. So that's also really cool to do with Kashano, because then you can get rid of her and add another one back, and he gets added back because another one was discarded.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
And then I've got 3 of the Grimrow, which is if I control a face-up Fabled monster, you can send this card from hand to graveyard, add 1 Fabled monster from your deck to your hand, except Grimrow.
She's got my favorite art.
That's because she looks emo and like a raven.
There you go.
And then the only spell I run in here is Obedience Schooled.
Get schooled.
So if I control no monsters, I can special summon 3 level 2 or lower beast types, which actually a decent amount of these are. I've got a Torrential.
Because Torrential.
A Divine Wrath.
Because it discards and negates effects.
And then I've got Judgment of Anubis.
The card's pretty nasty.
So when your opponent activates a spell card that would destroy a spell or trap card on the field, you can discard 1 card, negate the activation, and if you do, destroy it. So I get to discard, which is really nice for this deck. So there's, like, no negatives to the cost of this. Forced Requisition. Scrap Iron Scarecrow, because, again, I'm a brat, and it's funny.
Doesn't this card, like, not let them normal summon or something by discarding a card?
Yeah.
That's actually pretty nasty in this, because you get card effects off of it.
Most of the stuff I've gotten here is only because it's the discard, and I just think it's really funny because a lot of stuff that's actually, like, a cost that you have to pay. But for this, it's just like, oh, I get to do this thing, and this thing, and this thing, and then all their other effects go off.
And it's unlike Dark Worlds, where Dark Worlds, I don't think you can discard them with spell or traps. Like it's because your opponent has to discard them. So, like, what happens is if you do things that are for cost that are discarding, you don't get the effects.
And then I've got the Solar Ray. So I inflict 600 points of damage to life points for each face-up light monster on the field. And all of these are light monsters. So this is just really funny when you have, like, a full board. And they're like, oh, I think I can do this thing. But I'm like, nope, you can't do the thing.
Yeah, when you've honested me twice and then Solar Ray.
Call, for obvious reasons. Another Forced Requisition. So I don't know why that was with the other one. And then I've got 2 of the Grekki Break, so I can discard 1 card and target a card on the field to destroy it. Which, again, there's, like, no negatives to this, because there will never not be a card that I can't discard, because it will always do something else for me.
This deck's pretty nasty.
It's super nasty, but it's absolutely hilarious for people, because no one ever expects it. And then I've got the Fabled Leviathan, that I never get out.
Pretty sweet, though. Wait, there you go.
A Fabled
Look at that artwork.
Which I also never get out. The Kuadabi, which is weird, because if you have 0 cards in your hand, the card can't be destroyed by battle. But if you have 3 or more, it destroys this card. So it only works if you have enough stuff in your hand to keep discarding everything and only put it straight to the field. And then I've got 2 of the Unicorn, which is the 4. And when you or your opponent have the same number of cards in hand, negate all spell, trap, and effect monster effects activated by your opponent and destroy that spell, trap, or monster.
It's like a Yada lock if you get it off. It's not the same kind of lock, but you can't really play Yu-Gi-Oh!
And then I've got 2 of the Fabled Reagan. So when this card is synchro summoned, if you have 1 or less cards in your hand, you can draw until you have 2. Which is really cool for if you end up in a situation that maybe this guy would be cool, but you're like, nah, I want to do more than that. And Black Rose, because, again, I'm a brat. Scrap Dragon. And then I've got the Goyo Guardian, Hot Red Dragon Archfiend, Leo the Keeper of the Sacred Tree, Thought Ruler Archfiend, and Mighty Warrior. And to be completely honest, the last 4 of those I didn't put in. He did, and I never ever played them.
Woo!
But it's cool. They're good there anyway.
Anything else you want to say about the deck?
There's more Fableds that I want in there, but I can't unless I make it a 60 card deck. Like, there's the one that's the baby in the stroller, that's got the rattle, and it's adorable.
That card is so terrible.
It's awful. It's so bad. It's bad.
It's like
it's
the
worse
pineapple.
than pineapple. But I really want it in here because it's a Fabled. So, yeah.
Well, I hope you guys enjoyed the deck profile. I allude to this a lot. She really likes it, and this has become something that she's made her own, so hope you guys enjoyed it. Sorry for the glare during the video. I tried to minimize it by turning the camera a little bit, but I hope you guys enjoyed. See you later. Peace.
Bye.
There you go.